Here we have the apology tour of all of the people who threw Daniel Greene under the bus for the Naomi person before they realized that she was going to be a crazy person. And it's pretty wild as you look at this. There's a lot, of course, more apologies than just this going on. There was the Murphy lady who actually wrote her thing at first. And it's such a weird situation. People didn't like my take yesterday, which is fine. But I actually said that all these people are just gross. And if you look at it, Naomi's gross. Daniel is still out there like going and hooking up with women and doing drugs in Vegas. And then Daniel's wife actually encouraged him to hook up with other men, even though they're together. So they're all perverts. And this is the SJW area. Now, that doesn't mean he's guilty of sexual assault. Obviously, he's not. And this is what's coming out of this right here. And it's a lot to parse out, guys. But what can he do at this point? Because he's totally lost all of his fan base, all of his credibility at this point. And there's not much, it's not going to come back because they wanted to target him. They wanted to take him down. And he's stuck, right? If you look at his social blade, which we're going to do also, you can see that he really has taken some big hits here because of all these people just throwing him under the bus immediately. And these apologies are not going to fix this. And we will get into this and what his, unfortunately, has no recourse at this point. But it is kind of his own doing at the same time. I don't really feel bad for him, as I said, because he is a woke activist. He did court this audience. This audience is all about cancel culture. And they will throw you under the bus at the first slight violation of the narrative that they see. That is how they work. Now let's get into this and get into what I see, and just from the business perspective of all this that I've been through myself through cancel culture, that I can show you how it all kind of operates in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, everybody, and if you've hit the like and subscribe button, I really appreciate you for being here, and really love talking about science fiction and fantasy and everything going on within it. I'm a science fiction and fantasy author myself. This is my novel series, The Adventures of Baron von Monocle. Starts out with For Steam and Country, which, as you can see, perennial #1 bestseller. We sell lots and lots of copies of this over the years. And this is a 6-book series thus far. Really builds up. It's about an airship crew that's out there questing. They fight monsters. They're trying to defend their homeland, Rislandia. And on top of that, they end up embroiled in this really, really complicated war that builds up starting at the end of book 2. So you want to grab this whole series. It's a lot of fun. If you love fantasy, if you love fun, it's good, it's clean, it's for all ages. Everybody can enjoy this, and I appreciate you for being there. I'm going to put this in the description below. Thank you so much. It's available on ebook, print, and audio for all of your conveniences. Now let's get into Daniel Greene's social blade. So what did this do to Daniel Greene just on a level of this? You can see that he lost 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, another 10,000 followers. He's gained back 8. So these are the fickle, woke activists who are going to just take him down, and that's exactly what they're planning on doing. And net is minus 30K. And so he's lost a large chunk of his audience. Now, that's about 5% of his audience just gone right there. And that's just the people who hit the unsubscribe button. A lot of people don't pay attention. There's a lot of dead subs on channels and things like that. So overall, he might have lost 10 to 20% of his audience. That's a killer. And that sort of thing kills your YouTube algorithm. It hits you pretty hard and causes a lot of problems for you. And that's because of all these people virtue signaling when they did all this stuff. And here's all their apologies. You see, this guy was the best. If you didn't watch this Jackson Dickert guy, his original video, he might have taken it down. He was crying. He was ranting about non-binary people. It was one of the most out-of-control funny things I've ever watched in my whole life, and now I can't wait to watch this one. We'll watch some of these on a live stream later this week and make fun of these people. You can just see oh, I really wanted to cancel this guy, but now I can't. As you can see, ridiculous stuff with this going on right here. Now, like I said, once the mob identifies you, you're kind of in trouble as it is. Daniel's already lost so much from this. He's going to be losing a lot of book sales. He's going to be losing a lot of his channel watchers going forward because of this whole situation. And a lot of people, I saw it in the comments on his video when he actually went out and kind of debunked the whole Naomi King thing in her own words. A lot of people urged him to sue anyway. And that's kind of a losing proposition for him, and this is why. So I've actually been canceled several times before. The first time I was canceled is because I noticed that Marvel was hiring a bunch of leftists, and only a bunch of leftists, for their writing. And I wrote an article on that, and the mainstream comic book media tried to just absolutely destroy me. And I got a lot of crazy, I got like weird in-person threats over that. It was wild, just reporting the news, right? And then I actually was banned from the World Science Fiction Convention in 2018. The World Science Fiction Convention's the one that does the Hugo Awards, and they were actually here in my area and here in California. And they banned me. They called me a racist bully on their website because they knew that I supported President Donald Trump. And because of that, I actually got in touch with a lawyer and I sued them. So I actually have dealt with one of these defamation lawsuits before. What happened because of what Marvel and their acolytes did and what WorldCon did, I was blacklisted from mainstream publishing. I used to actually have a mainstream publishing contract for my first book. All that evaporated. I'm not welcome in any of those circles. It's pretty bad just because I stood up for President Trump and just because I called Marvel out for just only hiring extreme left-wing activists for all of their stuff. And so they didn't like that, and that's how it is. There's a big political problem within the mainstream publishing industry. I mean, I could ramble on that for hours. But what we had for my situation with the libel lawsuit, it started in 2018. We filed the lawsuit. We waited. I actually was waiting in this lawsuit until 2021. So this is like a 4-year period where you actually are involved in this. You keep submitting documents. You have to send them all your emails that address with WorldCon. You have to send in all these screenshots of all your blogs and all your social media posts. And for somebody like me, it's a lot of hours of work in the whole discovery process, where they were trying to go at me and all that. Believe it or not, once we got into deposition in 2021, the head of WorldCon was just asked under oath, why do you believe John Delarose is a racist? And he said, I don't. He's not. And so that ended that as far as the defamation goes. But it's really, really hard. Defamation as a law is kind of hard to fight because, one, you have to kind of first, Daniel would have to prove he's not a public figure. And then because the standard for public figures is a lot harder to actually get going because people are allowed to talk about public figures. Then after he proved that standard, he'd have to prove that not only is Naomi is saying something that's untrue and that there's damages involved. There's obviously damages involved here. But he has to prove that she believes that, right? And even in Naomi's apologies and the like, and all that's going on here, here's a new one from her. She just posted to Instagram. She says she didn't take down video 2. YouTube flagged it. Video 1 I took down because people were still clicking on it. I don't want any more misunderstandings. I have another and last video I'll be making on the matter, 3-minute apology I put up last night. Does not cover what I want it to cover. I'm not hiding. I'm not rescinding my original statement. Daniel Greene pressured me into things I don't want and that we previously agreed would not happen. I was inebriated. He was not. That being said, the way this all went was not what I intended. Hopefully a video can clear things up. After this, I'll be backing off from YouTube and other videos. So as you can see, despite the evidence to the contrary, Naomi King still believes and still seems to believe that he did this to her, right? And so that's going to be a hard libel battle to fight, right? And he can clear himself in terms of like any reasonable person at this point knows that it's like, okay, he obviously didn't do anything well, I'm not even going to say he didn't do anything illegal because they did drugs together. And on top of that, he is accused of soliciting her as like a sugar baby. That's a prostitution situation. So there is potentially illegal things here, which he has not denied in his statements so far. In fact, he admitted to the drugs. So the libel battle is going to be a hard one to fight. Moreover, this is the problem I ran into with the World Science Fiction Convention. When I fought them, they racked up $100,000 in legal bills against me. And, of course, it cost a lot to fight, too, in legal bills, right? And so with that, you have a big deal. So what happens at that point? Well, the World Science Fiction Convention, by the time they spent that much money on me, only had $5,000 to their name. So I was able to get paid out of what they had left for the defamation, which is nice, but like it really didn't cover anything. They did have to make an apology publicly, but what did that do? Did that actually like do much? Not really. Now it gets even worse for Daniel on this sort of situation because Naomi King's obviously broke, right? She's a person out here begging for attention, begging for bucks on YouTube. She's trying to be a sugar baby for people. That's clearly like a broke, mentally ill woman. So if he sues her, like, okay, well, he's not going to get anything out of it. He's going to lose a lot of money in legal fees, and she's not going to be able to recover it. She'll declare bankruptcy, and that'll be the end of that. So he's not going to gain anything there. On top of it, she's in Canada, so I'm pretty sure that's across country lines, which makes the international law even harder on this level, unless he's in Canada as well. I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. But this is there's not much he can do on this level. So he literally just lost, a bunch of his audience. The only thing he can really do is just get back on, make fantasy news, do the same thing over and over again. But he's going to run into the same problem because, honestly, he is appealing to the woke activists out here. These are the woke activists. You can see all of them. They're happy to throw a guy under the bus just under a mere accusation. It's appealing to the wrong crowd, and it's because he's a woke activist himself. He went out there. If you watched his video denying this, he still just was like all over Naomi's pronouns, calling her they, them the entire time. Like, why would you respect somebody's pronouns at that point? She's clearly a woman. Stop it. And then on top of this, he starts rambling about how he's bisexual, like as if that's going to somehow make things better, right? And so that's where it's at this point. This guy is on the wrong side. This is what the mainstream BookTube industry is, and what's great about this is it's all been exposed. So the mainstream, from our perspective, as readers, as fantasy fans, as normal people, all these people are woke weirdo activists who showed that they are willing to just go hard for that sort of feminist nonsense 100% of the time. And this is where they're at. So all these people are unreliable. They're all untrustworthy. They're all going to shill for mainstream books, and that's a good service for us as a viewer. Now, Daniel Greene's the same. He is the same as these people, believe it or not. If the situation was reversed, he would be making videos trashing any one of these people and then doing the exact same thing. That's the kind of why I don't feel bad for the guy on level. This is the woke right here. This is the problem with the industry. This is what we're fighting, my friends, and this is what we're building something new. So on our end, we are building a new community. I am reporting the news on a site, my site, Fandom Pulse, which we report all the news every single day. It's fandompulse.com. You get a lot of different topics. You get stuff on books. We covered George R.R. Martin today. I'll probably make a video on this because it's funny. But he's not working on stuff. We've got video games, movies, TVs, comics, tabletop games, and celebrity. We got a Discord group, which has a wonderful community of non-woke people who are enjoying science fiction and fantasy together. And on top of this, we have our books coming out very, very regularly. So I am a very prolific author. I'm working on a lot of stuff right now, comic books, science fiction, fantasy. There's a little something for everybody, and this community is going to build huge over the next year. So I'm glad you're here. Join us, guys. This is the real place to be. And unfortunately, Daniel Greene's kind of just got no way forward. He's just stuck, and that's where he's at these days. He can't really do much about this situation, despite all of it kind of garnering him apologies from people who threw him under the bus real quick. Now he knows he can't trust those people. My gosh. All right, leave a comment down below. I hope you'll join us. We have a lot of good people here. We have very awesome people. I really love my Discord moderators. They're good, trustworthy people. I want to give them shout-outs right now. Would never do something like happened in his Discord where they all threw him under the bus like this. And this is it. You just got to build a community of good people and rebuild our culture because it's just been torn apart by these woke weirdos for too long. Grab this book today, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back soon. Let us know your thoughts in the description below. Really appreciate you for being here, and hit the like and subscribe button.